What's up, my friends? Welcome back. We're doing a video series on how to get your website to rank higher. So if you have a customer and you're an electrical contractor and you want to make sure when somebody types in, find an electrician near me, you rank high because you're going to get the most calls if you do this. So let's get into it. Now, if you have not been following the series, I highly recommend that you start at the beginning of this because we have certain steps that we go. We go into what SEO is, how it works, how to figure out how to rank, what kind of keywords you need to even know for you and how to do the research and what tools to use. So we've been on this journey for a little while, and from the last video to this video, we've taken about a month off, and we just wanted to see all the work that we did for the SEO. Did it work? We took a month and we kind of saw things starting to bounce up and bounce back down and go up. And we started to notice that our organic traffic was hitting our website from keywords we didn't even think about. And so we go through in this video analyzing what has happened over the last month. And we identify some things that we should probably keep working on because this isn't just a one and done process. This is something that you're going to constantly have to evaluate and see how you're doing and be like, oh man, this would probably work better if I started doing this over here. So we get into a little bit of the tactics on that. We look at what organic traffic is hitting our website, how it's hitting our website, and then maybe we need to re-strategize. Maybe this page needs to have these keywords instead. So this is kind of the calm after the storm, so to speak, or maybe this is the storm after the calm. I don't know. But let's get into it with CJ and see kind of how we've been doing over the last month.
All right, so since we last talked, a couple things have happened. You guys launched your learning center and you've updated the website with added content and pages, articles, and continuing education pages. But your rankings actually have jumped in for the words that we made the changes on the homepage and the few pages. That's good news because they were not even in the top 100, which means the top 10 pages of Google. And now I've seen some on page 2 and one on page 1. And I'll show you what those are because, it's different with every company where you make those changes. Sometimes you make those changes and then like next day, not always next day, but right away, boom, they're in and they're up. For you guys, it took a little bit longer, a little over a month or so. And I was kind of like, we're getting on these calls and I'm kind of like, trust me, guys, I know it's going to happen. But I was also like, oh, when's it going to happen? So then now that I finally looked and seen it jumped in, it's like, okay, good. It solidifies that we did the right thing and Google's now recognizing it. And I'm going to tell you why I think Google is recognizing it. But let me show you what it is first. So, okay, so it's your position tracker. Now, this isn't everything that your website ranks for. Your website's naturally ranking for all kinds of stuff. This is just the words that we are tracking, the positions that we are tracking, specifically targeting. So you can see the map of where we added these keywords in back here, beginning of November or somewhere along there, October, November. And, they were kind of playing in here, not really doing much, up and even dropped a little. And it's kind of like, oh, crap. And then they pop back up. And then, boom, you get a giant spike. It makes you feel good. And then they're out again. And then you're up again. And then they're out again. And then they're up. So
why is that? I've been noticing I get emails where it's like, you lost 77 positions. And then the next day is like, you gained 83 or something.
You see this the most in the very beginning. You didn't have any of these keywords in prime positions on your website and you weren't ranking for them. So Google is trying to understand you in relation to these words. And as it's trying to understand you, it's feeling you out, it's like throwing you up, maybe testing you out, dropping you. It's just moving you around, trying to feel you out. The longer you're in there and the longer Google gets it and people are trafficked to your site and things are happening, the more that it stays and it stays stronger. I call it's like the stock market. It's like walking up the stairs with a yo-yo. We're going up the stairs eventually, but we're getting ups and downs along the way. And the reason is because Google's algorithms are trying to understand everything. And they're trying to understand all these websites. They're trying to understand them based on the content, based on the links that they're connected to, based on the traffic and how that traffic's behaving. This is a lot of data, but ultimately these were the words on the left that we put in, 44 of them roughly that we're targeting. You know, I'm sure there's some stuff that we missed that we'll find eventually, and some stuff on here that might not even be perfect, but then there are some really great ones. So these is your list of keywords on the left. I have them tagged. I can show you the tags here in a second to remind you. The intent of the words to remind you guys, whether it's a commercial service, someone wants to investigate a service. In other words, someone wants to buy your service. And then you've got what's considered an informational word. The difficulty, again, you see these difficulties are green. They're showing as easy is what they say. In the 29, 23, your website, just to remind you, your website's authority score with this software, not with Google, because Google doesn't have a score, is a 20. So that's why you can see these words that are in the 24, 18, 23 are doing the best, because your website's strong enough to be able to achieve these words. And that's why these have probably popped in here first. Now, they've added some new tabs, you know, like what's your potential growth and your potential traffic amount and stuff. But let's not really look at that as much as what's your position. So this is your position in Google and whether it's gone up or down. If it says new, that means it wasn't even top 100. So there's nothing to even, it didn't go up 50 from within the 100. It's like new from total. It just jumped right into 17. What I'm really looking for is here's the word, here's the difficulty, here's the position, and then here's the volume of search. So right now, your best word besides your brand name is best online electrician courses. So people searching, what's the best online electrician courses? You're ranked number 8, which means you're on page 1. And 390 people per month search this term. And your main homepage is what's ranking for it. So the interesting thing is that we created these words and we tagged them based on your continuing education words, your electrician courses words, your electrician programs, electrician training, exam prep. Focus is where I take one word from each deal and I try to make it the focus word, the target, the main focus. So this is going to show you all the ones that I consider the main ones, and we'll look at that in a second. And then I've got everything tagged whether it's online or not, meaning that people looking for electrician courses is different than online electrician courses. Because remember, we wanted to be the absolute most targeted. And the most targeted is someone looking for an electrician course, program, training online. Now, here's the interesting thing. We made a page for courses and programs. We're tracking all the electrician training on the homepage. Well, what has happened here is that all of these words seem to be ranking for your homepage. And wow. We didn't know what was going to happen. You know, see, here's the thing for me. The word courses and the word programs and the word training, they're all very different words, but they are semantic in the sense that they could mean the same thing, roughly, or they could be really unique because there are different words. I didn't know if Google was going to look at them semantically or individually. So I wanted to up our odds by having the courses and programs words on their own page and then the training on the homepage. It looks like Google is semantically liking all these words together and your homepage seems to be ranking for it all. But let's look at this. Electrician training online, 3,600 people search this word a month and you popped right into the number 20 spot. Your homepage is now ranking for words that have 1,300, 3,600, plus those other 1,900. Plus those other, ones that we're talking about. So this is what, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, roughly about 7,000 people a month searching these 3 terms. And you have made it to the bottom of page 2, top of page 3 for these right out the gate.
Cool.
Which is cool.
The assumption then would be if we've popped into that spot right now, if we keep doing what we're doing, it should continue to rise, correct? I mean, based upon that it popped up so quickly.
This is just, I never know where it's going to go into when it comes in.
Yeah.
And then once it comes in, you don't know if it's going to go back a little, then up a little. We don't know what's going to happen. But the fact that it's made it here.
Yeah. From like a gazillion to 20 in
exactly from nowhere, because it wasn't actually ranked at all. So it went from nowhere to 20, means that Google saw something in these words. It connected the dots. It liked them. And now we have to keep showing Google that these are great words, to keep pushing it up. And there's several ways to do that. And it might go back. Google might, recalibrate and say, and put it to page 4, page 5, and then jump. I mean, I don't know exactly what's going to Google. It might just keep pushing it forward. But that one word that we saw in there was also number 8, which is page 1. I mean, you could actually possibly be getting traffic from that already, because with a company like yours, everyone says no one goes to page 2 in Google, which is, somewhat true. But at the same time, I think that people do go further down when they're trying to find something very specific.
Yeah.
Now, you guys are going to be different than your customers. So your customers listening who are an electrician in a local city, people aren't going to be going past page 1, because when they type electrician in my city, they're going to have all these electricians on the map, all these electrician paying ads. The top 10 people are going to be electricians. They're going to have plenty to choose from, and they're not even going to take time to go down. Now, something that's a little more niched, a little more, nuanced, electrician online training, someone might not be finding what they're really looking for in that first few pages. And they might go down to the bottom, and they might even jump to that page 2 to look. So I do find that people go down further on the site and maybe to the next page if there's something very specific that they're looking for, and it maybe is a little more niched or nuanced than something where they're just already bombarded with all these options. So with that being said, you might actually be getting some traffic to your site from that one keyword already. So what's my theory as to why this happened? You have a website that had some natural traffic already. That natural traffic was probably pretty even. People coming to that site was pretty even as to who was coming and what they're doing. And it was probably based on, some rankings from blogs and articles and stuff. But then you change all these words to focus on the fact that, hey, Google, we are a training online program course for electricians. Okay, that's what we are. Google's like, okay, great. You changed some words, but how do I know, that's about all you did was change the content. But then you launched your online course on this day, and you sent out an email to a lot of people, and you had a lot of traffic come to your site, and those people on that site started navigating. User behavior was happening. People were going to pages, people were reading it, and then people created accounts. They signed up for your electrician course and program, and now they're on a free trial. So now they're connecting the dots. Google's like, whoa, this is an online electrician training course and program, and people are going to the pages, and people are signing up, and people are doing their thing. And I believe that the dots were connected whenever we made these changes. You sent out the launch, and people started behaving and signing up like we wanted to. So how do we keep this going? We keep doing what you're doing. We keep promoting it. We keep driving traffic. We keep getting users behave. We keep getting signups for the course. We keep connecting with other websites and getting backlinks. We keep adding pages and articles as needed. And we just keep this machine that is generating traffic and getting user behavior. And then what's going to happen? Google is going to keep pushing you up. And then what's going to happen from that? You're going to get organic traffic that is feeding into the machine and causing user behavior and stuff. So right now, your efforts to drive traffic, not organic, is connecting the dots of our content, producing user behavior, getting the results that you're looking for, and Google's liking it. And what's that do? That means it's moving it up. And what's going to happen eventually if you keep these efforts going? Your traffic will begin coming organically. And then the organic traffic will do the same results as your direct marketing. Produce user behavior that will sign up for courses. And ultimately, what we're trying to do is create this hub of user behavior where people like your content, they sign up for your content, they keep coming back for your content. And that is ultimately what makes all of our SEO efforts work. But in the beginning, to get it to be organic, we have to get that user behavior still. And you guys got that user behavior by driving direct efforts. So I think it's just this constant machine of direct marketing, feeding into the organic marketing, feeding into the user behavior, and delivering a great product.
Does user behavior behind the paywall still count for Google? So we have obviously courses, people have signed up, but everything's behind that paywall. Is that something that Google looks at all, even though it's behind that paywall?
Can we have the backlink conversation? Because we had a incredible amount of toxic backlinks before, and what it seems like SEMrush is still putting out there to me every time I track it on my side is that we still have a lot of toxicity. So what do you think is a strategy going forward for us with backlinks?
I think the strategy should definitely be to continue to get good natural backlinks. And we can make a push to get some of the toxic backlinks disavowed in Google. So we can send a file to Google and say, hey, these are toxic, disavow these. I think what matters most is just striving to get good connections. I think what we should do is just figure out our backlink plan as how are we going to connect with affiliates? How are we going to connect with partners? How are we going to connect with the community in a way where we can get them to link from their websites and their articles back to us? And then in the meantime, I'll put some things together and try to get those links disavowed. But it is a constant battle. You disavow a bunch of links. A few months later, your organic traffic went up from an article, and now you got to disavow a bunch of other junk. So we'll constantly try to do that. But I don't want to get caught up on the idea that like we have to constantly disavow links, because now I might have an argument with other SEO people who feel differently. But I just have this feeling that that's part of the SEO where the algorithm's going to start understanding when you're doing something to try to trick Google, as opposed to things are just happen naturally on the internet and you might not be able to help that some people are connected to your site.
I just used SEMrush to generate a disavow list, and there were like 7,000. I stuck to scores that were 60 or higher.
If you use SEMrush, then I know that the list was generated properly so that I can upload it fine. I just want to make sure that whatever list, I just take list, click upload, boom.
Yeah, does it matter if you, when you disavow, it gives you the option of doing just the entire site, I guess, like the URL or the link? And I did the URL for all of them. So like the entire website.
URL is probably a good way to go. Sometimes I find that all these URLs are in the end connected to like just a handful of sites. And if that's the case, there were like 20 others that were linked to it. Yeah, in that case, I'll probably just do the whole site so that doesn't start happening again. Because if there's 20 now, does that mean that site's just going to keep producing some kind of junk? Maybe it's a bot, I guess, or something that's doing this. I don't know. I think that URL's fine. But if you notice that it's really just a handful of domains, let's just hit the domain level, because we don't want it to keep producing.
Yeah.
So the question here is, what do we keep doing, There's some stuff that you guys did that I want to show too that we need to add to your list. On the continuing education You guys took your continuing education and you turned each one of these into its own page, which means, and I took a look at them already, which means now you have a new URL for Alabama Electrical Continuing Education. You have one for each state, and you've got individual content on there relating to Alabama Electrical Continuing Education. You've used this word as your H tags. You've used this word as in your URL, your .com, electricianu.com/Alabama Electrical, at URL. And then you used it in your title tag, which is on the back end site for the listing in Google. So now what you have done is you've opened the door for 16 potential new keywords that I'm going to add to your list and start tracking, that who knows if they're in there already or not. That's a whole new set of pages. So, because remember in the beginning, we went to the homepage, had significance, and the courses page was significance because we're targeting online electrician courses and training. And then the only other thing that was going to be really significant was just articles which are more informational. But now what you've done with this is you've given very targeted searches that are not just informational searches. This is people looking for continuing education in a state. You've gone geo-local with it. So now that is amazing. So now what we want to do is start tracking those words. So really for the future here, what we need to do is we need to keep driving traffic the way you have through direct marketing, because that has gotten all of this working. What we also want to do is we want to start working on our blogs and making sure that our articles are moving up to the top for traffic. We want to start tracking these pages that you just made for continuing education. And then we need to build a backlink program to figure out how to get links back to these. So I say two things moving forward. How are we going to get links back to these different parts of our site, different pages? And then how are we going to look at our blogs and continue writing blogs moving forward that can get solid stuff into the site?
So we're actually ranking in the front on the first page for a lot of terms, right?
Yeah,
It's not the ones we specifically chose.
Yeah. Remember, this is what's actually happening. You're getting number ones for these terms: electrical code for stapling wires, 50 searches a month. The stapling cable, or this cable guide here, is ranking for that. You're ranking number 2 for a lot of these words. Number 3, during conduction, only negative charge transfers between projects, or whatever that is.
Who searches that? Evidently 1,000 people a month.
1,000 people a month. And then you've got a charging methods, understanding how objects acquire electrical charge. So this is already in the number 3 spot, so you're probably getting some traffic. But let's say you got some of these words that are down here a little further, right? I mean, look, this is all page 1, 7, 8. This is all page 1. I'm looking for big search volumes like 1,000. How to permanently charge object through induction. And then you got this charging methods, understanding how objects acquire electrical charge, right? So if this is in the number 8 spot, maybe it's moving up, it's just not there yet. Or maybe this blog that we know is on page 1, but it's not at the top yet, has a potential to be optimized for this word. So this is where you could kind of plug this term into SEMrush, see if there's some missing terminology on this blog that you could add some verbiage in there, maybe help push this. It's the competitiveness is 24 and your site's authority is 20, so it's possible you're already here. So that's one way that we can approach blogs, by taking your existing blogs, seeing which ones have the highest search volume and are the closest but not winning yet. So let's find what's already working close to the top and see if there's a way that we can drive links to these or optimize the content a little bit better to get it working. Or we can go and we can now flip here and search the volume, and we can start going back and seeing this is an easy one. So this is where I would go first. Easy one. Okay. 2,900. So you got the highest volume. You got the lowest competitive score. You're on page 7 for single phase versus 3-phase. Single phase versus 3-phase power. So this is an easy term. I already created you a list. Electrician articles, so I'm going to add this to it. That would be one of the first ones. It looks like single phase versus 3-phase, just different using the number there.
Yeah.
Same deal. But look, 2,400. So now you got, it's really about 5,000-6,000 people searching this one term in two different ways based on the typing of it. But so this right here is your next potential for driving a large amount of traffic via a blog. Now you can optimize these existing articles next and see, let's track them, see what they're doing.
So we've got hundreds of articles. I think we got 291 currently, like written articles. We only probably have about 40 of them published. There's a bunch that I've like started writing and we need to find some images for them, or I need to record a video for them. So they're just in draft status. But for what we have published on the website, we realized that a lot of them are not optimized in any way. And so it made me think, okay, I actually have to go to each one of these articles. And like I've got this article, 120, 208, 240, 277, 480 volt. Now this title is crazy. This is something I had to change it to. The article was originally like 120 versus 208 versus 240. What's the difference, or why all the voltages or something? And then I put that in keyword research and realized that there's no volume for that. Nobody's searching that. Nobody cares. So I was like, oh no, like what are people searching? So now it became, here, instead of here's the article I want to share with you, it's what's the question you're asking and let me answer that question. And what are you searching when you're asking the question, and making sure that my title and my H1s and my pictures and all that stuff, like we said for the main pages, that we're doing the same thing here. So it ended up being that like 120 versus 208 versus 240 was something that had volume. And so these other voltages were also in there. So I just threw them on as extras because that's not going to hurt. Making sure that I had the word voltage in there. The other one I did a similar thing is we had volume for grid tied versus hybrid, or hybrid versus off-grid solar systems. So this was originally called like, what's the difference between grid tied and off-grid solar? And so when I typed that in, or typed variations of, off-grid solar, or I would just type in hybrid solar, just to see what would come up. And I found, okay, there's certain volumes that have really high spikes of people searching. If you're ever searching in Google and you type in like, how does an electrical, and you stop, it drops down a whole bunch of the biggest volume searches, the most common things people are searching. And nowadays there's been so much volume that when you see in the drop down the thing you're looking for, you just click that. A lot of people don't actually type in exactly the question they're looking for. They're just looking for the thing that other people have searched and they're clicking on it. So that's making more volume for these specific keywords that are in Google or that are in YouTube. Same thing kind of works there. But you want to figure out, what are people actually searching, and let me answer that with an article. So that has changed. I've got 291 articles that I think are awesome, that are cool videos, but they might not actually be things people are searching. Or it might be the exact thing people are searching. It's just that the title that I thought it should be was stupid. It has nothing to do with what people are searching. So the idea with a search is that you want person typing something in, whatever they're typing needs to be the thing that they see when they land on your page. The title needs to say that, the thing they typed in. The words in the articles, the pictures, the blog, everything needs to be exactly what's being searched. And maybe not 100% exactly, but that's how Google's deciding that this is the thing we're going to show you, because it's the most relevant to the words you just put in. Google's not a person, right? It's probably an AI at this point, but it's looking for like exact matches for question and answer. To tie those two things together. So I just went through and electrical harmonics and AC systems. That was another weird one where it was like, nobody really searches for harmonics in electrical. Nobody's like typing in harmonics in electrical equipment or something like that. So I just typed in the word harmonics, and then I got all this like math and engineering stuff, because electricity is not the only thing that has harmonics. There's like harmonic minors in music, like playing chords and having harmonic minors. And I started looking through and I was like, oh crap, there's nothing about electrical. So I just typed the word electrical with it, and I'm like, oh, there is some volume there. It's not crazy, but at least there's no competition. So mine is going to be the thing that pops up when someone types electrical harmonics. So it not only is it just for the search, but that also works when people are in our website and they go to the blog and they see something titled Electrical Harmonics in AC Systems. So it doesn't look weird to people that are on the site and looking through the grid of articles we have, but it also fits perfectly for what people are the most logically typing in. And I know that what they're looking for is a whole bunch of information on harmonics. So I have this whole article written about what harmonics are and how the different harmonic series works, what a fundamental frequency is, what causes harmonics, what are the effects of harmonics, how do you manage them, cool pictures, making sure that like I've got electrical harmonics, in the actual caption of these pictures. So, and then the title too. You can kind of see that the URL and the name of the file, I named it Electrical Harmonics something or other. So I just did this with a whole ton of articles and we noticed a huge jump. I get emailed by SEMrush all the time because SEMrush is constantly running new audits every week, really every day. And it shows you that, things move up, things move down, but it shows like a lot of movement because now Google is gaining data because we have users that are hitting these things and they weren't before. So now it's helping everything start to rise up.
In the meantime, I'm going to find keywords for all of your geo-targeted pages for continuing education, Alabama, Texas, etc. Add them to the list. Then we can go back through those pages, run scores on them, see if we need to better optimize them, track them. So then the backlinking is one of the hardest things because backlinking is something that needs to be natural. Now, when your articles get to the top, people will naturally link to them because someone somewhere is typing an article relating to electrician terminology and they're going to do a Google search of, well, how do I conduct to this? And then you're going to be at the top. And they're going to say, okay, great. So then they're going to put, if you ever need to know how to conduct a whatever, blah, 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 and then they'll link to you because they want a good source of information for whatever topic they're talking about. So maybe they don't know how to go deeper like your article will, but they know that part of, when researching a electrician for your home, make sure you get one that knows how to do a panel change or this or that. And then they'll find your article. They'll trust you because you're at the top and giving them directions on how to do a proper panel change. And then they'll link to your article. So in other words, the more you get articles and web pages up to the top, naturally, you're going to get backlinks generated. And that's the best way to do it because those backlinks they're going to put them in the way they need to. It's just going to naturally happen and Google's going to see this natural progression. In the meantime, you have to think, how can I acquire backlinks? One way that Brett talked about doing is an affiliate program or a partnership program or possibly a resources where you guys say, who's all the people that we work with? Maybe we work with X, Y, Z, this affiliate or this partner, and maybe we can make a page on our website and we can promote these brands and link to their website. And then we can contact all of these people and say, hey, we've added you as a resource on our website. Could you add us as a resource on your website? And once all your affiliates and people start getting links to your website from theirs, now you've created backlinks. Another way to do it is to write a great article and submit it to a good blog. So say you found a good blog for electricians or home services. And you said, hey, I've got this great article about electrical, blah, blah, blah. I think it would fit on your home service blog. Would you accept it? And you submit it to them, and sometimes they say, yes, this is great content, it'll go great on our site. Sometimes they say, no, this isn't really what we're looking for. Sometimes they say, could you rewrite it for this? That's the harder way to do backlinks. So I think at the moment, what you've got going for yourself is you're just great at content for your own business. So let's get these articles that are already doing well optimized. Let's let these things work to the top and start getting some natural stuff. And then in the meantime, if you can create like a resource or a partner or affiliate type page, and you can reach out to some high people who might give you a link to their site because you do business with them, then that could be a great way to get some backlinks first on your outward efforts.
All right, so we thought we were done. And as you can see, there's actually quite a bit of homework that we have to do still. So CJ was very transparent from the start. He said this isn't going to be a one and done thing. This isn't going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen over 2 weeks. This is probably going to be like a 6 months to a year kind of process of you constantly going in and making changes, which is why he says even for an electrical contractor, you have work to do every day on this site, and you have to keep analyzing. You make changes and then you see what is the organic behavior. Okay, it's not following what we did. It seems to be doing this over here, so let's grab some of this and adjust. So we've spent a little bit of time, we've analyzed what's going on, and we realize there is some things that we still need to be doing, and we're going to do all those things, and we'll check back with you guys in about another month or two, and we'll see what the results are, giving a little bit longer term time frame. Now, if you are interested in hiring CJ and you don't want to spend all of this time doing yourself, you want to have somebody like him just do all of it for you. CJ is rad. His company is really good. Check out, there's a link in the description below for the SEO Contractor, and contact his team. I guarantee you will be pleased with it. Love you, crazy people. I'll see you in the next one.